All right. Hello, everybody. Sorry about that delay. My niece's birthday, so I was just chatting with her. And yeah, welcome to another stream. So you'll see here a little bit of a different area of the game, but what I started off with something I posted yesterday was around this area, and I'm still playing around with some of these kind of lighting settings and kind of sun angles, like the golden hour type of stuff. Um, but yeah, so um, last time I was talking about, and something that I wanted to share with you as well as I was looking at some of the screenshots that I was taking. So like for example, in here there was a kind of a setting that I had with kind of the sun was coming at this angle. And it looked kind of cool, with all the bounce light going on and all that. But one thing that I didn't really like was that shadows around like um, uh, various surfaces, and especially like small items that are close to a surface and create that kind of distance field occlusion. I'm not sure if I think that might be the right term, but what that was causing like really dark shadows. So let me show you what I mean by that. So in the post-process volume, there is a setting. Let me see, where is it? It's called a shadow contrast. So this by default is set to 1. So you can see like, especially around items like, vegetation that are really kind of tightly packed together. Maybe maybe like small items like these tires that kind of overlap. Things like ivy that are next close to a surface. Yeah, don't mind this. This is just a little bit of the this asphalt surface. But yeah, you can see like how dark these are, and like I said, the setting in the post-process volume. Let me just get back to the post-process volume. That setting is set to 1, and at least with my current settings, when it comes to, let's see, did I go past it? Or was it shadow contrast, right? Um, so you can see like it's like really dark, especially when the sun is not shining on it. It turns it really dark. So I kind of scale this back to maybe a zero point 0.6, and it also kind of lightens up the scene. So kind of combining the shadow contrast with the exposure compensation. And I think I got a little bit of a more like a softer kind of lighting going on, and in some of these areas around here. Like I've kind of tried to place the camera like a bunch of points around the world. Um, yeah, so another thing that you might notice, and again take into account that I'm streaming right now, but in a lot of these scenes, I am getting at least 50 frames, with the current aspect ratio, right? Because that would impact that. Um, One thing that I've was attempting around the same stream or last week was virtual textures, right? So you might have seen this thing on the left-hand side. Let me see, did I disable or enable all screen messages? I guess I'm not hitting that at the moment because I have a lot of my levels hidden. And so one thing that you might have seen out here, there was this thing with the memory, video memory has been exhausted, extremely poor performance or something like that. So I was able to alleviate that, and usually you can take a look at the audit statistics, um, and with the texture stats, like the all streaming levels. Um, Let's see, as soon as that loads, so see it's like around 8 gigs. I think they're all actually loaded at the moment. And so I tried to convert as many of these to virtual textures. And got um, this value dropped dramatically. the only thing, and I might have mentioned in the previous stream, was that with that, the overall complexity of my materials really shot up. So if you were to look at it the way it is at the moment, um, so you'll see there's plenty of green. These are like red because they're like they use like the runtime virtual textures. But as soon as I went to the virtual texture for these surfaces, all of these were red. They were like kind of a bright red like this. So that really dropped my performance. And I was trying to think of, I've been getting kind of mixed suggestions as to where to use virtual textures. Some say, like big surfaces, like but I've seen that it might be better to what I'm gonna try is actually use those virtual textures for things like this, like highly detailed, up close type of things where this is all kind of like 4K um, and so it's a huge memory draw or like takes up a lot of memory. Like this card itself, I think has like four materials or something like that, or even more. Oh, geez, those are kind of a lot. Instead of and yeah, I'd be fine with a small object that is not even going to get rendered at distance to have a complex shader, like this being red. But when it comes to like everything being red, then that's where kind of it seems like it really kills performance. So I'm gonna be experimenting with some of that next. Hey Atlantica, so the auto exposure with that I've been trying to play around with the auto exposure. Where was that? So it's in here. I'm not entirely sure. I think this needs to be there's like a specific value that you need to put this at to have that. I'm kind of fine with it being constant no matter where you look, so because there's that eye adaptation thing that you can like the dimming, kind of takes a while or it can be faster or slower. Hey, XM, welcome. Do you use Nanite and VSM or just Lumen? So I use Nanite and Lumen. I don't use virtual shadow maps. And also, a great question. Let me show you. Let me go back to where this area is, and I'll show you what I mean. I think because let me just move this around a little bit. Um, previously I've been using the virtual shadow maps. And I couldn't figure out why, and you'll see it very well when I'm gonna try and like kind of get some shade coming from the trees. So let me see what would be a good angle. All right, so I think that could be a good angle here because there's like quite a bit of shading coming from the trees. So right now this is not it's using just regular shadow maps, but let's see if I convert it. Oh, come on, my bad. I don't have a bookmark set for this area here, so I just have to fly over. Oh yeah, and the other thing is, I got to a point where even on my 1070, this is running at a constant 50-ish frames in most areas. Again, without streaming, and without any of the tabs open, because like that takes away from performance. But let's go into project settings, I believe is what it's at. And in here right now, I have, and I'm not sure if this is because of my vegetation not being nanite, even though, I've turned nanite on, but it's not, I don't think it was like nanite ready. Um, so right now I'm just using the regular shadow maps. So let's see if what I was experiencing yesterday actually happens here. So let's look at, in this case, especially when it comes to like foliage. So we'll see like the kind of the hard edges around these shadows. So I'm going to turn this to virtual shadow maps. So you can see like the effect of this, which I don't really like. Um, I have noticed it didn't impact performance very much. Um, and the engine used to complain that Nanite assets require virtual shadow maps, but I haven't seen that error happening in 5. Not error, but like that message in 5.6. So right now this is virtual shadow maps, and you can see like this kind of really harsh. I couldn't figure out why it was happening. Like you can see like this really harsh type of. I'm not sure it's like anti-aliasing on the shadows or what that might be, but you can see it on like vegetation as well, and that one looks even worse, I think. So with my current setup and my ini settings, like the project inis, shadow maps seem to work much better um, when it comes to that. Again, it doesn't the performance difference. I mean, it's unnoticeable between the shadow maps and virtual shadow maps. But we'll see what 5.7 brings. I think they were discussing something about like vid nanite vegetation and all that. But again, the assets themselves, I think they have to be made more with a nanite type of thing in mind. But the this this particular package that I have, this Nordic conifer biome, um, they're not. Um, and I think I've shown it in a previous video that depending on the LOD that it's at, there was some like kind of missing things in it. But yeah, I use Nanite for most of my. Oh yeah, hey, thank you, XM. I'll definitely give that a try. Thank you so much. I'll put that in my notes. Um, so let's actually try that since we're here. Let's give that a shot. So let me turn this on. Oh yeah, but so that one just enables virtual shadow maps, and I think that's just kind of what I did here, right? So if I was to use that in here, I'm not sure if you need the equal, but yeah, so that just turns it off. I was hoping that was a setting that I could still use the virtual shadow maps and then get the kind of softness that the shadow maps have, right? So we'll see. Maybe 5.7 could would bring some additional for that. I'm still looking into and trying to find if there is just a cvar that I'm missing to to still use virtual shadow maps but have this softness around. So yeah. Um, let's see. As far as the game world goes, this was an area that I wanted to polish up as well for the demo, and I was able to find this kind of really cool warehouse type of in the on Sketchfab, just as a kind of a reference. So that's why I'm getting the idea of having like a few more bays and like moving some of these buildings around a little bit to create some corridors around here where you can like stalk some of the enemies and such. So yeah, I think we'll probably do some work on that today. Uh, yeah. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Um, and um, Yeah, so so far, so good on the artifacts. I haven't noticed anything even in game mode, but I'll keep an eye for the freezes. Oh, thank you, Atlantica. Yeah, that's a good point on the mini EV. Like I was playing with more of a, like trying to keep away, no, not keep away, but not use the eye adaptation. I was playing around with it a while back, and I'm, your mileage may vary, I guess. But it was looking good. I mean, I kind of liked it, to be honest. But I just didn't like that the eye adaptation part of it. So that was the one thing that I was like, okay, maybe I'll just try like this for now. Um, all right, yeah. So that was the main thing, and like I said, with the virtual textures, and let's see. Um, what else? So yeah, I think we'll work on this area next, and I'm gonna try and do more streams like in the evenings. Evenings, my time, which might be a little late for folks out in Europe, and like um, it might be it might work for folks maybe in Asia if I do like at night on the East Coast. But another area that I wanted to get done is this area kind of in between um, these apartment complexes here, and kind of have like a little bit of a square with like a soccer field type of thing here in the middle. Kind of the streets just going around it. There are going to be like these houses that are lining up or are around the soccer field, and just some like residential houses back here. So maybe I'll work on that during some of these evening streams. But yeah, I mean, I was pretty reticent when I was thinking of Nanite, and that was, you can see like this video memory has been exhausted message there. But ever since, the past month or so, since I've been trying to focus more on like optimization and getting better performance, these areas were like running at around 20, 25 frames, and now they're like up to 45-ish, 50-ish. And that combined with trying to tame like the overdraw, um, using Nanite, uh, that really bumped up performance. And especially like once I built the H-Lods in game mode, it seems to be even better. So yeah, Nanite, I'm starting to dig it. Of course, there is the place where, since I do use a lot of the assets from the marketplace, some of them are not necessarily Nanite ready. So I have to, use them in conjunction with non-Nanite assets. Um, yeah, like for example, like this asset here. This one is using virtual textures. So right now, the particular shader for it, it's not. I've kind of reverted it back to just a regular uh, non-virtual texture setup. But um, but I'll have for some of these, like I said, the some of these assets that are, the player can really get up close. I'm gonna try and see if I can use virtual textures for those. Like these cards, right? They're like highly detailed, high resolution textures. I think for the buildings and everything that takes up a big space on the screen, I'm gonna try and not keep in regular textures, just so that I keep the shader complexity low. Um, yeah, that's true, Axum. That's true. For me, in what you are seeing here is using Nanite, and so far so good on the regular shadow maps. Um, I wish I'd figure out why those, when I turn on virtual shadow maps, why is um, that rough edge around, for the shadows. I can't think of the technical term for it. But if I'm gonna be able to figure that out, I'll definitely share it with you guys. Or if somebody else knows what that is, um, Hey Neo, yo, welcome, welcome. Have you seen Vite Fork? What is Vite Fork? I haven't seen that. Let me see. Can I just look that up? What that is? Vite Fork. Is that something that yeah, I don't know what that is. Um, let me know what that is. Yeah, and also one other thing that I wanted to mention, um, with the runtime virtual textures. I am really liking those because especially like okay. Unreal Engine community made for. Gotcha, gotcha. I haven't checked that out. No, I didn't get around to doing it, unfortunately. Yeah, so what I wanted to mention is with and now you can see like this stuff is like kind of happening here since I'm especially in a kind of a busier area, and I do think that I have uh, yeah, I do have this area loaded in here, so there is like a ton of stuff going on. But but yeah, one thing that I wanted to share is that you'll see that I have all these kind of areas where there's like a back alley or something. So I want to have it, concrete type of stuff, but then I also want to be able to like on the side of the buildings maybe put some grass or some kind of stuff. Um, and with the runtime voucher textures, you can easily do that. Like you can see over here, like this area um, is um, is sculpted in a way that I can just go ahead and like paint some grass like on the edge. And I think that's kind of hoping that the tool strength is pretty big. Let's see if I can paint a little more. You can see there's not a lot of it showing through, but now if I was to like, let's see if I can sculpt this up a little bit and kind of bring up the terrain, right? So I'm just going to bring up the terrain to the level of the concrete. But you can see like um, the texture is kind of it's coming through, right? So you can see that, and it blends in, with the virtual texture. It blends in really well um, with the surrounding areas. Let's kind of drop this down a little bit. Yeah, so you can see how this one is makes it so much easier to like add some like vegetation on the sides or like around buildings, kind of what I did around here. And also what I was doing in that area where we're gonna do some work over here. So like all this stuff is li literally just like landscape grasses, that are kind of coming through, and you can see like how it blends in um, with the actual concrete, concrete, with the actual this rectangular mesh that I have for my asphalt concrete section. It uses RTGXI instead of Luma. Um, well, I think, I was kind of thinking that RTX GI that um you need an RTX card for those. You can run that on a GTX, like, because I have a really old 1070, so um oh, so Exum Megalites have become better. Have you tried it? I haven't tried it yet. I think that's also a RTX type of feature, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so I no, I haven't tried it. I mean, I just don't want to have to manage. Being that name of the project on your own, I'm on my own. I don't want to have to manage too many lights, and I've seen like the features or like everything that was they were presenting when Megalights came out, and yeah, it's great. It's just I think for me, I I'm not I'm not using it. I haven't found a usage for it just yet. So like the only shadows issues that I had was missing a skylight component. Okay, yeah. Um, No, like I said, I'm not seeing any issues even um, with regular shadow maps instead of the virtual shadow maps. But I mean, that's to be seen. Um, so yeah, let's do some building in the meantime while we also chat. But yeah, especially you know, um, combining. I saw somebody posted something on Reddit about using Unreal Engine 5, and it's like seeing a lot of people complaining about Lumen and Nanite, and for me at least, um, I think it has helped me a lot in performance. Well, of course, that is to be seen how it's going to look in the package project, and I'm hoping to do another package build um, within the next couple of weeks or so. I'm still on one hand waiting on uh, Unreal 5.7 to come out, so so maybe I'll hold off until that is out of preview. But yeah, I'm actually kind of excited. Like given some of the things that I've been doing recently with regards to performance. Uh, I am at a level right now that I was seeing in 4.27. You know. Previously. So yeah, Lumen takes a little bit of that, but at least with my setup currently and the way things look in my project, it's minimal, like 3, 4 frames tops. And yeah, and with 5.7, I did notice that. I did notice, especially I think for foliage, I feel like there's a lot of optimization going on. Um, I think the main thing, and like what a lot of people have complained with Unreal Engine 5 is like the performance, the stutters. So at least in the editor, I haven't noticed anything like horribly wrong. Um, so and again, my test bed is 1070, which it's getting up there in age and features, I guess. So that's why I'm trying to like develop my project with that in mind. If I can get it to run decently on mine, then somebody with a, you know, not even modern video card, kind of like a 2020s video card. So yeah. So I think is on 5.0 below, runs on any card that supports DXR. Oh, 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 that's sweet. Yeah, that's so my only thing with that is um you know and I think it should work just fine since I use like a number of plugins. I think that's like my only fear, like when if that plugin would be compatible with that branch, because I think it needs to be built for that branch as well. Um, so I think that would be my only fear with switching to a um, uh, community release. I place it there? There we go. Yeah, I think the 4060 is actually, I mean, it is like the 4000 entry series or like entry level, but compared to a 1070, it's still like twice as fast or something like that. Oh yeah, and I mean, I am on on source control, so um, definitely easy to just revert back. I mean, that's what I'm gonna, whenever I migrate the project from an older version to a new version, I commit everything at the moment and then do it. Um, but Neil, thank you so much. Yeah, that's a great thing to think about. I'll definitely give it a test. Um, since you mentioned it, I think I might have um, been thinking about it, but um, I think I was just like my knowledge was that with our RTX GI, you need to have like a RTX video card. All right, that looks kind of cool. Let's see, how does this one look? So it's kind of like it's got like multiple bays. Of course, not really, copying what this Sketchfab asset is like, but just as a general thought of layout and kind of what does it look like from a business standpoint. This one's got like multiple entries, multiple bays. I got some of the trailers, kind of similar setups. The one thing that I don't have as a, you can see like some of these bay entrances have like this, hopefully you can tell, they have this kind of arching thing over here. See, I think this one is not nanite. It is not, it's not nanite. But, so I don't really have that. All right, let me just move it to the side. I'll just use it as a kind of as a reference. And so let's add a little bit of a breakup. Oh, one thing that I've been playing with is having these decals behind like an asset like this, just to add a little bit of a kind of a cracked surface in the wall. So let's see if we can select that. Where is the decal? There it is. Oh, I made it a little big. So, kind of like this, so it sits right behind those. So just to help with the transition between the two. There we go. So let's see. Mm. Oh, okay, gotcha. So that, if to get it to work in 5.6, yeah, that's unfortunately that's one area that I'm not very good at, kind of to update the source code. It's one of the things, I've since, coming from CryEngine where I was doing some of the C++, um, I wish there was a little bit, I guess I'm looking at it with my kind of software engineering hat on. I wish there was a little bit more of an emphasis on C++ and not just, I guess, make it simple for people or, controversial opinion as to, uh, having to do a little bit more with C++. I mean, you could definitely do it, but it's just like blueprints are so convenient, and everything is in there. It's so easily, readily available. Um, so I'm not complaining here. I'm just, I wish there was a little bit more of that. Okay, so back to kind of sculpting this terrain over here and getting some of that surface kind of coming through, for some of these corners. I think this is perfect for areas that are not going to be like necessarily enterable, so you don't see what's on the other side. But for areas like this, you know, just perfect to get that in there like that. Like right there on the side, so you don't have to like, you know, do some like foliage spawner or something like that. It's just with the terrain. So there we go. Um, One thing that I did want to add here is just kind of some dumpsters and stuff like that. Let's see, what do we have? I think that might be a little too big for this area, so I'm just going to move it onto the back of this. Um, yeah, maybe more towards like the corner here. And the dumpsters can go on this side. Oh yeah, and these are some of the ladders. All right. So let's kind of break up this surface here a little bit. um, I think um, that's something that I would really love to see. Something like that. You know, because a lot of people say, yeah, it's like 10, 15% more performant if you do it in C++, but I haven't really seen uh, like a concrete example, so to speak, you know. So I would love to see something like that being done. Kind of this is how it was working with all just blueprints. This is how I started with all just blueprints, and then moving over to C++. Uh, this is how much better it got. All right, so just placing this over here to kind of break up that continuous white surface there. And maybe we'll put one on this side as well. See if I can make this a little bit more opaque. I should be deleting this one. I don't think I have it's not that good. See if I can find something else for that. I have a small selection of leaks, I guess. When you package the Unreal Engine 5 nativizes the score the code for in C++. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think I think I would take a 10% decrease over no stutters type of a trade, if it was me. But yeah, if you can get away with not having uh, any of them, then that would be amazing. There we go. All right, so yeah, breaking up some of these vertical surfaces as well. Oh yeah, testing. Uh, Testing is always good, right? All right, and then let me grab like some patches type potholes. I got a three that I'm kind of switching between. So, but though, let me see. Is it this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. That might be one of them. And actually, let me just jump out of this. I've been trying to like kind of, oh, these are some duplicates over here. I've been trying to also update a bunch of the names for these decals as well. So, kind of a combination like this, I would love to have. Did I grab both of them? Oh, there's actually three, so my bad. Weirdly enough. How does it look inside? All right, so the inside looks, I was playing around earlier with the post-process volume. I think I could increase the update rate on Lumen. But let's kind of paste that here. So there we go. That's actually kind of cool. And of course, I think a lot of, uh, since I use stuff from different, content creators, I do end up redoing their or like um, using my shaders instead of theirs. Especially when it comes to some of these like decals and so for example, this one, reduce that a little bit. There we go. I think that blends in a little bit better. And then this one over here. I think it's really nice when, some of them are kind of underneath or, the, tweaking the order of these. I forgot to mention something. I think the fork has tessellation back. Oh, well, that's actually interesting because I used to use tessellation in 4.27. So I am missing that, but it's not necessarily like I can't do without it. But but yeah, I mean, I was kind of a bummer when uh I don't even know when they brought it back, like what version it was, because I think dot one, 5.1.2.3, maybe in dot four. Where did they bring in landscape tessellation through Nanite? Can't remember which version that was on. But yeah, that was annoying. So just that it was a little bit too yeah, definitely nice to have. Um, definitely, yeah. All right, so that looks kind of cool. I like that. Yeah, this is, for example, one thing that um, I'd like to understand better. Like this value, climbs up at times and then it stays there, like right now, you know, and then it goes down, and then it does nothing, or it just sits around 100, but then it goes to 1,000. It's like, based on what is that happening? Okay, well, so we got that there. I think what I'm going to try and do is also do the corner here and kind of block it off with another one of these kind of big trailers. I also don't want to extend this too much. I think we still got plenty of room here, so I'm just going to sculpt the terrain afterwards. Well, we can have another bay over here. Let's see how this looks when it's on a corner. I think it should look fine. Oh yeah, Um, so this is this particular package, if anybody's interested, is called like the modular warehouse, I believe. Um, but yeah, I mean the buildings themselves, I've changed all the materials around. So that's, I mean, but I still kept the meshes, right? And I think these ones these ones I've just updated the shader. I kept the meshes, but the shader layer is a little bit, it's my own, kind of. That's one of the things that I've been trying to do is just unify the shaders once I get um, one of those marketplace packages. I just try to unify the shaders to go with what I have. All right, so actually that looks that without even thinking of it, but that actually worked out pretty good to have this I-beam right here in the corner. There's only like this little issue here, but that can be done with the landscape, which is why I really like this. Let's try and do that real quick. So let's sculpt it. I think I already have that set to the right height. So there we go, almost there. Pesh Pesh, hey, how's it going? Um, there is a feature, or there's a feature, there's a setting like in the mesh itself. Let me just get this sculpted out here, and I'll show you. It's actually a pretty cool feature. Um, I guess yeah, that's gonna be hidden pretty well by that. Yeah, bear with me for just 1 second here. So if you have, for example, like this mesh here, and that works the same for like ponds, for like skeletal meshes. So there is a thing called receive decals. So if I turn that on, you can see like the decal is applied on this one as well. But if I turn it off, then, no decal. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we have another bay over here. This is what I was talking about with this bay kind of you know, um, I wish I had like kind of some bumpers like the rubber area around the opening, but that might be something for one evening to do when I'm like I don't feel like doing anything else, so do a little bit of sculpting or a little bit of 3D modeling. All right, so let's do the same around some of this area over here to kind of sculpt this out and bring it up a little bit, and then paint a little bit of grass. And especially when it comes to the inside, like one of the my concerns is that the grass is going to come through on the inside of the building. So I usually just try and block the corners off like this. Um, what if you want decal from weapons like bullet holes? Um, I mean, so yeah, that's going to be a little bit, I wouldn't say necessarily trickier, but you know, with these decals, and I haven't done it too much over here, but you can set the size of it, like because I mean, it's just I think I'm not sure what the tech behind it is, like a projected thing, right? So if you were to look at this decal itself, where was it? I think this one might be it. Yeah. So this decal, for example, you can see like it's pretty wide, right? So I'm looking at from this corner to this corner, and I can always just like make it really thin. So that could be what you would do for one of the um, for one of your bullet hole decal. It'd be like a really thin. really thin decal. So that way, you know, it could be, and usually um, the bullet hole is going to be pretty small, right? So you can always have it so that, um, but you know, that, yeah, that doesn't really answer your question. So I would just kind of keep these very thin like this, you know, like you can see it here. So if I just place it on the surface on that, um, on the brick, even if I turn decal to receive decal on this one, you'll see that it's, you know, that thing being so thin, you're not seeing it. The one thing that you might be getting is, like, let me select this back. It's kind of like when you position it, you know, you'd get this little line here if you're not really careful, but yeah, just making them really thin like that, especially if it's on a flat surface. So if it's on a flat surface, you know, even easier. Yeah, hopefully that helps. All right, so let's finish off this thing here. I'm hoping that I'm gonna be able to, uh, let's see, what do we do about this? Let's see, what can we do? Maybe we can create an overhang. I think an overhang would look kind of cool. Okay, so we got that there. All right, so let's see if we can do an overhang. I think that might work. Yeah, there we go. And do we want it going this way or do we want it going this way? Let's try it going this way. Oh, and the scale was like completely weird. I was wondering why that is that way. There we go. I think that should be fine. Yeah, I was wondering if that'll be fine, but it's just there. And I think we can always use this little I-beam here to help with that edge. So how do we want to put this one? It's got kind of a weird shape. The other way. You know what? I'll take that. Yeah, so there we go. And we've added a little bit of a, I guess I wouldn't call it a design feature because this is just kind of, these didn't quite meet where I wanted it. But, having that overhang, adds a little bit more to the shape of the building, right? It's not just like here, like kind of a box type of thing. So that's good on that side. We're gonna have to expand the fencing area. This is also like an area that's kind of occupied by the bad guys. Let me let me fix this little trash bin here. There we go. Can remove that. So let me see now if, because there's like a little bit of a, like I was telling you guys, a little bit of a kind of, is there room enough for these things to maneuver around here? There's one thing to have like the placement inside of a building like this one, and then outside in the parking lot where, at least in the case of this example, um, I mean, we don't have a lot of things around the building, there's the building and then there's the truck. So I kind of got the placement of where I want to have things, but um, when it comes to some of these kind of medium-sized assets, uh, and trying to think of, okay, if the truck comes in, it's going to back up over there. Maybe I'll just put him a little bit closer to the building for now. So I think I can probably work with that, though. This one they're kind of floating in the air a little bit. Okay, that should be good. And then sculpt a little bit more around here. Again, this way I don't have to, I can get some of that grass, some of that debris around it. Just like that. And then, yeah, like in front of the entrance, as in, like kind of where trafficked areas would be, it can always be some of these decals that I can put in here. Huh, accidentally, this particular one kind of works interestingly. I feel like it works okay for for like these bay openings, at least looking at it from a distance. Still need to kind of remove probably the tiling on this asphalt surface here, but this is why these decals are so awesome. Let's try and not make that look like it's right next to it. I'm gonna try and like kind of slide it under the dumpster there. Hey, Funky Pants, welcome, welcome. Good to have you. And then on top of this, what would look even nicer would probably be like a puddle, just kind of leaking, probably leaking out of the dumpster or something like that. Let's see what would work better. Something like that. Let's try to maybe make it a little smaller. So it's kind of settling in this fake little uh, concrete patch damage. Oh yeah, so I'm doing cool. I'm doing good. It's been a little tough at work over the past few, some weeks, and but it's progress is happening. It's definitely kind of winter is coming, but like I don't do anything during winter, so it should be I should have even more time for things, which is exciting. And for this one, maybe this particular one has a, see if I just remove the normal. Can we make that? That's what I was looking for. Guess it might not translate very well when there's like another normal underneath. Okay, but that's a kind of a good first placement here. But yeah, I mean, while you were away, I've worked quite a lot on, trying to optimize the project, a lot of cleanup like this week as well, trying to clean a lot of the, in some cases there might be like duplicative assets, like you might have a couple of dumpsters placed overlapping each other because you might have duplicated the level at one point and or you might have broken up a pack level actor. So, clearing some of that stuff, that's always good to do, but it's, sometimes it's time consuming, but it's got to be done. So that helps as well, I think. Um, there we go. That's pretty cool. Maybe a couple of trucks on this side, or like a truck or something that could work as well. So I'm thinking let's jump into game mode. I wanted to test how well these ladders work. I think I might need to do a little bit more here. Oh yeah, yeah. Right, right. So that was kind of uh, the there is stuff beyond this area. But yeah, now the town has expanded quite a bit, or at least I wouldn't call it necessarily expanded, but I've kind of tried to turn it into more of a town. So it's a little bit bigger now, and you know, there's like the same amount of areas, but I wanted to develop them a little bit more. So the same setup, these 5 zones where you'll be able to travel between. And of course, like the patrolling outside of the fences that, you know, at least in the beginning, you don't want to interact, um, get too much combat-ish. So yeah, um, a lot of the areas they're going to be kind of like this, the areas in town. This is still not completed, but like back alleys, um, what else? Stuff like that. That's kind of how the whole town is. I've designed the town itself. Some like back areas, parking lots. This being in zone 1 now. And like, there's like stuff, small things like this that I need to refine and complete. And of course, like we're looking at now, some areas that I need to finish off. You know, maybe not floating, trailer homes and like trucks. Um, so yeah, everything is pretty much in place. It's just the final refinement of things. But yeah, I was saying let's kind of jump into game mode real quick. I wanted to do a test around this area just through like a walking thing. Excuse me for 1 second. Sorry, I was gonna turn off my mic so I can get some water. Hopefully I didn't interrupt the stream. Oh yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and like I said, maybe one of the reasons they haven't seen me as often in the past few or months or so, I've been doing some traveling and um, you know, I haven't been able to be at home all the time on Sundays. But like I said, I'm gonna try and do some more streaming at in the evenings. So hopefully I'll be able to, um, do some more work during those times. But yeah, let's try and see how things are. I don't have any enemy spawners happening around here, so no enemies at the moment. Maybe I'll add them for next week's stream. to try and do some like stealth work and oh yeah, am I back? Hopefully the stream is back. At least I'm seeing it. Yeah, I was I wanted to go on mute and by mistake I went to stop streaming. But hopefully we're back. All right, so let's try and get into game mode here for a little bit and see how things work, how things look. Oh, and why the heck did this level not load? Oh, my bad. One thing that I didn't realize is that when you do go into game mode, so I'm just gonna have to delete this for now. Bear with me for just 1 second. Um, Apparently it loads like the rest of the stuff, so all right, let's try and hide them all. Okay, so it's kind of daylight. It's all right, so hopefully that way I'm not gonna get that error that there's like multiple directional lights happening. Oh, but I forgot about. Okay, my bad. So it might have to be next week. I'm not entirely sure why. I think this level is not. It's not set up to load during um, during runtime. It should have, but I'm not entirely sure why not. So I'll have to look into that. Sorry about that, guys. Next week. Uh, yeah, so like because the way I have this set up is through data layers, to kind of keep track of, what's being loaded. And I think this particular one for this, where is it? Warehouse exterior is initially, should be advanced initial runtime state loaded. Let's see if I set it to loaded. It's at runtime, it's in the editor. Let's see if it's supposed to be in the editor as well. So I'm using these data layers just to kind of keep track of, both managing what's in the editor and what's at runtime. So I'm thinking that I don't have like the right settings for these ones. So there we go. Now it's better. And hmm, this is kind of interesting because I was kind of thinking these doors were a little bit bigger. Not sure why they're so small. Everything else is up to scale, and I think I'm running into some kind of like a collision issue here. I'm gonna need to figure out why that is. Oh yeah, it's the collision. It's the collision for the building. Oh man, that sucks. Anyways, let me turn down this one because I still didn't get around to like turning down the running noise that the player makes. Okay, so these are decently enterable. But this one in particular, I need to, oh yeah, so I guess I need to, I'm gonna need to edit the mesh itself. But, oh yeah, everything else should be up to scale, when it comes to like the player itself or like the character. These door openings, they seem a little small. So that's on me. I gotta check that. think this one doesn't have the collisions. I think there's just like a box collision. And there is something going on here with this one. I don't know exactly what. Like when it comes, I think it might be due to these. No, no. So I don't have a stamina thing, but I wanted to give the player, you. I wanted to give the player like the feeling that the player like that you're running, right? So it's kind of that panting, that kind of so that's one of the things that I wanted to try out. Okay, so this guy is climbing up, but it's going up a lot higher than he's supposed to on this ladder, and it's not visible. So I'm gonna need to revisit that one. But okay, so ladders work. Getting off the ladder works just fine. Okay, so that I wanted to test that out. I'm gonna need to see um, why there's something that I'm like colliding with. Oh, yeah, so right here. I'm not in, I think it might be due to these like ventilation things. So I'm gonna have to look at that. Oh, yeah, so I guess I'm just at the start of the game. I don't have my tablet yet, so and actually let me see something. Okay, so running in the editor, let's see, what are we looking at the moment? With the okay, so about 40-ish in the editor while streaming, full screen. Uh, oh yeah, this is an issue with the post-process volume. Yeah, no, you're right. That's what I was mentioning earlier. It's I think the package itself has some very small doors because this is all at scale 1. The building is scaled, but the opening for the door is unusually small. Um, so yeah, like the trailer is fine, everything else, like these trucks are fine. It's just like these doors are very tiny. So I'm just gonna need to edit the mesh itself, which I've been doing with a lot of the assets that I purchase. Like I end up going in and changing things. But yeah, that should be easy to do, as far as the changing that. Yeah, so let's kind of work a little bit more on this area around the buildings. I'm gonna have to look, like I said, into why there's like some kind of collision over here. Oh, the character is like just a normal height. I think it's 5, 6 feet, like 180, 180 centimeters. So just the regular height. But like I said, I think this opening is just too small. Yeah, so let me drag in one of my this is one of the things that I haven't done for this area yet, or at least not for these. But let me drag in one of my like a scale type of thing, like a character, and we'll kind of position him around the yeah, so I think this one is a little bit small, but no, yeah, it's still small. Like the door is like the opening is really small. So I'm gonna need to edit that mesh itself. Yeah, I mean, I think the door should go to at least halfway between this and this, you know. Yeah, 510. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what like measuring system you use. Yeah. So I'm gonna do a little bit of that over here just so that I can paint maybe a little bit of grass. Just like that, just to have like a little patch. Oh yeah, there you go. That's good. That's good. Let's do some more sculpting. Hey, old nag. So the map is like all the playable area is about 2 by 2 kilometers at the moment. Yeah, thank you for asking. I think I did a test of it took me about 10 minutes, I think, to run from the corner where this dam is all the way into the corner of the exit, which is going to be over here. Like not the exit, but like the one of the other corners of the map. So yeah, from here to here. And we are over here. Yeah, so the whole thing of it is like this the landscape is 4 by 4, but the playable area you can see it only has like the vegetation on it. So so yeah, I think it's about 2 by 2-ish, kind of in that area. The river. Do you mean like this one here that was like coming off of the I guess for whatever reason it's a little bit, I kind of moved it a little higher. But do you mean like this section here? Oh, that actually looks kind of cool. Um, yeah, yeah, I was able to fix it. Yeah. I can't remember what it was though. I have to be honest. And let's see, the underwater still looks okay, I guess. Okay, yeah, the underwater still looks fine. All right, so let's go back to our warehouse over here. Yeah, so for this one, just gonna continue on flattening it a little bit more, and this is just gonna be like I'm gonna paint some dirt, some mud, because this one doesn't have any vegetation to it. But then in the middle, oh, actually I wanted mud. But in the middle of it, I can paint like a small patch of grass here, like that. And then going around the buildings, again, just the same method. Up until the corner. And then painting first. Let's paint the mud first, I think. I'm gonna do it like that. And then the grass into like a smaller area. Just like so. And we can probably do a little bit on this end as well. Yeah, I think one of the other advantages of like the runtime virtual textures for landscape, it seems to actually help with the shader complexity, which I never really understood why, of the landscape material. So let's get a little bit of that over here. And then just like before, painted with mud or whatever removes the vegetation. So, it's kind of like a dirt type of thing, but it's there's no decal, right? It's just a landscape. And then I can paint a little bit of grass. Up. I need to select it, just like to have a patch there. And let's clean this up. Kind of thought that I did bring them over there. Yep. Actually, do I have this duplicated? No, I don't. I have that door duplicated. Oh, but I do. Oh man, I see. This is one of the things that sometimes happens. Like some of these got duplicated, so I'm actually just not gonna need this. Okay, so that's actually starting to take shape. I'm still gonna need to do the other side of this building here. But on this side, things are starting to come together. I think we can add another one of these dumpsters over on this corner here. Oh, hey, where'd you go? Oh man, I kind of sent that all the way down into the middle of the earth. There we go, like that. And actually, I should have just brought these from over there, because they are already pretty well lined up. So let's see, I'm gonna delete this one and just paste these right here. There we go. That's better. We have this kind of little office there. I'm gonna have to fix these entrances. Let's also address this part here. And then one of the fun parts um, is I've been using ChatGPT, of course, everybody has, to generate some decals. And let's see how it's gonna do for the next one. Um, Let me see where if I can pull up the last one that I did, if I can find it, that is. Um, so maybe I'm not going to be able to find it. So let me show you a couple of the things that I was able to generate with it. Of course, after a bunch of attempts, but I might have mentioned that the name of the town is Lake Haven. So I've created in the past a little bit of a poster type of thing. So Lakeview Haven. So this is kind of created with ChatGPT, then just photoshopped at it a little bit, or maybe a little bit more. But but yeah, so similar to this, was this created, kind of reminiscent of the town, right? Haven Hardware. Then I actually didn't put it over here, but like something for like a Haven Brew, like a kind of a brewing thing. It's still just the one with the hardware. But well, I meant, this one. So something like that is what I'd like to do over here, for like Haven shipping or something like that. So it would be, kind of this decal, which actually, let's actually put it inside of this label instance. Oh, thank you, Neo. Yeah, it does really well. It is highly dependent um, on the inputs, but um, I mean, I guess we're we haven't really said what this building is for, so um, it could be just a brewing company. So I guess I could just use this one for now. But but yeah, this was that's how it started, and then through Photoshop I've kind of added some like the little shadowing, yeah, shadowing, that's what you call it, and I'm gonna see if I can generate one similar to this in and just I was thinking of like Haven shipping for this. Um, So we'll see how that turns out. If it turns out close-ish, closer to this, yeah, we'll see. Okay, well, let's add a couple more decals around this to just break up yeah, like I said, this one seems to be a little bit um too much too high tile on this. So let me see if I reduce it a little bit, because right now it's double. So let's see if I bring it down to, I think that, oh, that's better. Yeah, and this could also have, if I'm not mistaken, the way I've set up this shader is to be able to paint some damage or some kind of, there you go, something like that, where it's kind of adding a little bit of a different shade to it. So I think only adding that in, I think that removes quite a lot of that repetitiveness of it. Doesn't have to be much, but hey, try lowering the opacity a bit on the decal. Yeah, oh, good point, good point. And I think, it'll also make it look better. Let me see. Bear with me for 1 second. So let's get in a little closer. And let's see, dirt. I know I had some added some dirt to it. Um, let's add 1 second. If I can add also kind of some like grunge to kind of peel it off a little bit, kind of like this. But I wonder if I can add, if I can use this one, like this surface. This is going to be interesting. So if I can use the surface for this corrugated metal, and mainly, let's bear with me for a little bit. So as a second alpha, to use this to see if I can remove like to add some wear right on the edges where the corrugated metal would be. But that'd be something interesting. Let's see. See if that's if that we can make that happen. Um, so we got that. Let's see, what channel do I want to be on? Is it the green one, or what channel was that on? So that's the alpha. It's on the green channel. Okay, let's see. So we got it on the green channel. Uh, there we go. So something like this. This is what I was kind of going for. To reduce, to make that uh, worn off a little bit. Can we make it so that it kind of matches or lines up? Yeah, that's a little bit difficult to make it match. Okay, so it was an attempt. Let's see, maybe I can use like some of the other. Hmm, maybe just maybe your basic grunge could do just as well. Because it just doesn't match the thing behind it. So I'm just gonna try with like a standard grunge. Let's see, maybe like a drip mask. So maybe something like that. And this one, I could have like one of those leaking materials that I have from here just to overlap that. And oh, I thought I had it. Oh, how many decals do I have in here? Yeah, so something like this. Let's see, is it overlapping? I think it's overlapping. There we go. I think that's pretty cool. Thank you, Neo. That was some great ideas. Um, but yeah, just as a let me see, was there? I thought I had one that's a little bit of a longer stretch for this leaking surface. Is it this one? Let's see. So it doesn't, I don't want it to look like it's just placed there because it's on, that thing is there. I don't know if I should like try and like get it up to here as well. Okay, yeah, and that kind of broken up that texture on the surface over there as well, you know. So okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, and I was gonna grab a couple more of these decals and and try and place them around kind of the middle area over here. remember what this one was for. It was just a stain. Yeah, and there is also like some cases like this where I'm not sure why this one has no basic width to it. There we go. That's kind of a mystery why that looks like that. So let me just delete it because I don't really know how those ended up there. I mean, some of these stains are actually would be good to have, but as a fresh new decal and not what was there. Ah, forgot to unlock this. Um, good, great question. No, I haven't. So back when I started working on the game, it was in the CryEngine days. I actually I was going to GDC. I think I went there like 3 times, and I even presented at the Crytek booth a couple of times. Just kind of talking about my game, about my experience, as a, solo developer type of stories, kind of. Um, but no, I haven't been to any of the Unreal. Well, I mean, I haven't been to an Unreal oriented kind of event, so to speak. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, no, I haven't been to one. I need to do something about these. Maybe I'll just kind of spin this around a little bit. All right, that looks better if it's like parked underneath here. Now these, they kind of look a little bit out of place. These tire tracks. Uh, but make a normal map would make it better because I can imagine a spray that perfect. Um, are you thinking of of this one? The kind of the Haven Brew surface? I mean, those would usually be like decals, like something that is just like glued on or, you know, duct tape on. I'm not sure what the vinyl wrap type of stuff. Yeah, yeah. So nobody would spray it. I mean, this wouldn't be like it wouldn't be a spray. This would be like a. But I totally get the thing of having like a normal, so it kind of sticks out a little bit. But yeah, it would be. These are usually just like like a. It wouldn't be a spray, right? Um, but I totally get what you're saying. Yeah, because I mean a spray, maybe it's gonna be like one of these, right? Uh, for a tag. So let me see if I can, kind of place some of these tire tracks over here somehow. Like under these, wherever these things would park, these bays. I am going to need to make these a little bit less opaque. More like that. They were just like, it looked like they were all like doing just like burnouts in the parking lot. So something a little bit more faded. I think it's a little bit better. Um, I think I do, but at the same time I don't. So sorry about that. I just wasn't sure what else to kind of add to this, you know. Um, like the way I look at it and the way I've seen people doing it is with stencils, right? So they would like cut out the stencil and then come and spray it. They would spray like the background first, and then on top of that they would spray like the white. So it wouldn't be like freehand. This is not, like a freehand type of thing. It'd just be like they would cut out a stencil first. Think of like Banksy. Like Banksy does stencils, right? This one could be lifted up a little bit. Okay, I mean, that's starting to take shape, I think. And some of these are kind of like an interesting idea to have. I'm not sure how these decals ended up being just flat like that. It's kind of weird. But let's try and also add some drains because that or like uh like not sewer drains, but kind of like this in a way, but more of this type of style. So like something that you would open, and also for that, um, so major things, I don't really have any major things left. Like as far as combat goes, as far as AI goes, inventory, quests, storyline. There isn't anything major. I think it's more of just like, buttoning up and having these areas that are going to be navigable in the demo, having them be ready. Like the area at the dam, like I might have shown it in a previous stream, like everything that's going to be inside here, which is not currently loaded, but all this dam area that's not going to be available on the demo. Um, but the town and kind of the few missions that are going to be available in the demo, I'd like to, oops, and I'm probably going to need to address that, but I'd like to have those ready. And it's almost there, like there's this little area here, which is in this zone 5 that I need to do. And I think, just buttoning up around like around the sewer, because like the sewer is going to be used to be able to travel between some of the zones. And yeah, and I think that should be it for the demo, but yeah, there's like this area is gonna it's gonna have a couple of missions that are gonna be centered around it, and that's why I wanted to get that done. Um, next stream I'm gonna be working on this area to get this area done, which is gonna be this, have this center little soccer field where you're gonna meet a number of DNPCs, and but yeah, I mean, as far as I mean, I think that's it. So yeah, it's more just around the level design that that I need to do, and so the things with the HUD, they actually everything works. I think the one thing that I need to add is um, and I'm gonna end the stream in a little bit, but I'm gonna jump into the test level and show you a few of the things that I still have left to do. When it comes to the HUD, it's mainly around the the device. Kind of like the device that shows you directions, shows you the mission, shows you your basic inventory where you can craft stuff. And so though that one needs a few small tweaks, tune-ups, but yeah, that one's almost there as well. So I'll show you. Let me just see if I can. Actually, I was gonna grab and add a couple of these like metal plates, like stuff like that. I'm actually not sure if this one is fitting to be around here, but I was hoping that it might have a place. Let me see. Maybe actually, I think it might be better if I know I have some like kind of drainage type of things, like so that might be better. Like some drainage, not a drainage ditch, but like um hopefully you get what I'm saying. Uh, and I'm trying to find which one that is. My bad, guys. Yeah, so see like kind of something like this, but we'll see if I can find one that fits a little bit better. Um, something like that. Kind of coming from the side of the building and just splitting up this thing. I'm guessing this could probably be better if it was like a mesh itself. Um, let's see. Yeah, so underground, it's that's a great question. It's not technically underground. I mean, oh yeah, actually it is underground. Yeah, it is underground because I was sorry guys for jumping around, but yeah, I was showing you where was I? Like one of the ways to enter the dam would be like either through like a top entrance through here, which is kind of and actually let me jump into that. Let me turn that on and show it to you. Where is that data layers outliner? And damn, where was that? Mine, junkyard, cave, dam interior. I think this one might be it. Yeah. So one of the entrances would be through here. Kind of. So this is now we're on the ground, right? Basically. So you'd be able to enter either through here when you're gonna need to infiltrate this area. And I'm missing parts of it. Where is the rest of it? Um, oh, my bad. I don't think I have it that added here. Right. So this would be like kind of going underground, and then the other one would be through here, which is that tunnel I think that you were mentioning, and this brings you. Apologies for the volumetric. That's kind of crazy, but that would bring you into the other entrance into the dam, which is through here. This is going to be a lot more enemies, but yeah, it's a little bit of a straighter shot. So, but for now, these are not going to be like for the demo. This is not going to be available. Um, but yeah. Oh, so Neo, how do you switch decals so fast? I'm not sure. Do you mean like selecting the decals or like finding them? And I think this one might be better with some like a drainage. I think I might have some like a drain type of thing. Finding them. So I think this might actually be better. So good question. I already know where they are, and like I kind of have them separated into all like industrial stuff, and then um like so there's like the industrial stuff like grates and sewer and like manhole covers, and then there's like the um, concrete related items, which is like the patches, like these kind of concrete patches, damages, and then the natural stuff. So I usually just search for concrete. So in my content browser, I search for, and of course, like I just filter it based on like material instance. So if I want to grab like a drain, like I already know where all my drains are, and then so I only have like a few of these that I can like search by, so concrete, and then I usually have concrete damage. So I get all the kind of like the patches and the damages. Then then I have like just simple patch, which would be like road patches. So that's pretty much, and I don't have like a lot of them necessarily, like I think I have maybe 10 or 12 that I roll with. And I just try to keep it kind of to that extent. Let's see how these would look if I try adding some of these. Yeah, well, so in my case, I do have three monitors, so it's essential, I think. In my case, it helps immensely to have that. Oh, and willing or unwillingly, I kind of really just drag this over to, oop, and I had to do that, right? I should have had this in the level itself. How did I end up having like two of these here? I think this is a pretty decent looking drain. It's got some parallax occlusion mapping on it too, so it looks like it's got some depth to it. Depth to it. So let's go back in here. Paste these guys over here, and let's see if we can. That goes there, and this one, let's actually use a rectangular type of thing. So there we go. I mean, it's kind of going to a sewer, and that's kind of interesting like that. Are you going to use for fog for undiscovered areas like Far Cry 5? Uh, so do you mean like a map type of thing where it's kind of like that fog of war and you need to discover those? The thing is, I don't have a map, so um, and plus, like the map itself is really small compared to Far Cry 5. But yeah, I don't have a map. Um, Fortunately, unfortunately. It's more of you interact with the characters and then they're gonna tell you you need to go here, and at that point you get a waypoint as to where to go. Um, yeah, that's one thing that I've kept thinking about, but I just didn't get around to um, you know want to have the time and kind of do the map section map work, right? Um, okay, so I think this part is at a good spot right now. So let me go to Neo. Let me go to my test level, and I'll show you as far as the HUD goes, where that would be at. Um, okay, so let's jump into game mode over here. When it comes to the UI, this is kind of how it looks, with your settings, where you can like switch between using HUD or using the device, um, video advanced, kind of just the basic stuff. And what I want to do is, so when you do have the device, you'll see that those little icons at the top where it says 1, 2, 3. So those usually kind of highlight what your inventory would be like. So one, you got the pistol, two, you got the gas mask, three, you got the binoculars. So I need to do the other ones, for the rifle, the bow, and there's a couple of more items that I want to have. Now when you go to, so when you go to the crafting, oh, what key did I use for that? Do I not have anything in there for crafting? Um, So basically what happens with the crafting screen, oh, I forgot. I need to set up the animation. So with the crafting, this thing would like slide to the left basically and open the crafting section of the menu, and in there you can scroll through the items and like craft a bow or craft an arrow or some simple items like that. So it's not like I can craft like two silencers out of five different pieces of cloth. So it's not to that extent. Um, but yeah, as far as the HUD, that is almost in place. Like the interactions, they're like kind of there as well. So like for example, timed interactions. I might have showed you this before. Like the tapping type of mashing the interaction button interaction, then kind of searching through things. So yeah, everything as far as interactions is also in place. The weapons as well. Kind of death of the enemies. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea on the status of the HUD. Will players be freeing sections of each town? No. So there, all these the town areas are kind of, so you can see like I was showing you this in the past, where there's like a kind of an announcement, kind of like it's sort of like if you think of it like a forced quarantine type of thing. So the bad guys have placed these, the inhabitants of the area in these like zones. They've separated the zones of the town, so they can like keep track of them easier. And so in that zone is kind of like a safe space, right? So that's more for you to like interact with NPCs and get missions. Then you can travel outside of the zone, and at that point you can like, deal with enemies, the uh, you know, the ways you choose to do it. Um, and but yeah, those sections are not, they're safe spaces, right? They're like safe areas. You want to equip the weapon when you get in there. At least that's what I'm thinking at the moment. And it's just about navigating the area, finding the NPC that you need to interact with, get the mission, get out, go to like, for example, the that warehouse area where you need to complete the mission, right? Or go to the motel. Like, I was showing the start of the game where once you land, you rescue the first guy that's being taken hostage, and he gives you the mission to rescue his wife, which is she's at the motel. And then he's gonna give you details on how to enter the first zone in the town. And once you enter the first zone, then you can go and start asking questions, um, to get more details of where your friends are at, because this is kind of the purpose of the game, finding these two friends that have gone missing. And yeah, so kind of going and completing missions for different people in different zones will get you more details and help you progress through the story. Oh, Red Dawn. Another game that I haven't played. Oh my God. I haven't played that many games, I guess. Or Red Dawn the movie, right? Oh yeah, yeah, I love that. I mean, both of them. The one with who was in the first one, like Patrick Swayze, and the second one was with what, Chris Hemsworth, or were the Hemsworth brothers? Yeah, yeah. So you're thinking you're thinking like that. Yeah, that's similar to that, but this is not like a different, kind of a foreign government taking over. Yeah, I like the 80s too, but the new one was not bad. I mean, I'm not gonna knock it out. It's the um, Red Dawn, the remake, I guess, was also pretty good. I enjoyed it, so um, I'm totally fine with remakes. I don't have anything against them. Some of them are bad. Some of them are definitely bad and should not have been made. But you know, s- some of them are, they're watchable. Let's put it that way. Okay, well, so guys, I think that's gonna be it for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. That was great to have everybody on and chatting. I'm probably gonna go for a little bit of a walk. It's always good to disconnect from your computer. And but like I said, I'm gonna try and stream some more during the week, like in the evenings. And especially now, like it's getting darker sooner, so I'm gonna try and do some of that as well, and share the work that I'm gonna try and do around that town area, and also hopefully continue the work at the on the warehouse, because like I said, I'm gonna try and do, if not every evening, at least once every other two. So I hope to see you guys there. I'm gonna post it on the socials, Twitter, Blue Sky, Discord. So hopefully I'll see you around. All right, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. Atlantica Games, you too. Everybody else, Neo. Thank you so much, Funky Pants, All Nag, everybody else, Pesh Pesh. Yeah, take care, guys. I'll see you sometime next week. Have a great week, all right? Take care. Bye. Oh, Neo, was that a wave or a question? I see you had the hands up. If that's a wave, then have a good weekend.